Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new podcast here on Arsenal Aura. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great time wherever you are. My name is Michael, and I'm here to talk about Arsenal. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of the podcast. It's been a while, but we're back. And we're back with an old friend, an old Arsenal supporter. Joe is in the building. Hello, Joe.
Hello. I'm not that old, but thank you. It's lovely to be here.
Old as in you were the first Arsenal supporter who joined the podcast a while back.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, and you are you are a supporter for a while, so that's
true. More than 30 years, so you got me there.
Yeah, we need to soon we should give you a birthday cake each year that you're an Arsenal supporter and you manage to support a club through thick and thin. So, congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you. I mean, honestly, I stress eat so much when Arsenal are playing because I genuinely put on weight when Arsenal are playing, and there's like high intensity games, and there's a chance of us winning something. So last season was tough.
I don't think there's any chance that we can impress anyone at Arsenal with this to give you some kind of compensation or whatever else. But I'm stressing out as well. To be completely honest, I've been a little bit more relaxed in the past couple of years. We had some really good results and good patches then and again. So I think in the last couple of years, but it became more stressful because now we're competing. Now we're at the top. Now our expectations are higher. So that's a little bit crazy. I do hope that everything is good and we manage to keep ourselves in a good shape. However, now Arsenal are not playing yet, but they're playing with our minds and hearts and with their finances on who should they sign and who shouldn't they sign. So I've been on vacation a little bit. You've been on vacation as well. And I think because we haven't yet signed nobody in the attacking line, right? I think it would be a little bit mean on my side to say that the Arsenal recruiting team has been on vacation as well. So I'm not going to say that, although I just said it. But apparently, did you follow the Arsenal transfer news while you were on vacation?
Yeah, although nothing really happened until today. So yeah, I'm up to date as of today, which is the 25th. Let's say you go for a city break of 3-4 days. Can you stay 3-4 days without watching Arsenal news? Probably not. I kind of instinctively pull out my phone and start scrolling through Twitter throughout summer because you feel like you're lacking football. Some people like having sort of the summer off and not watching football. I can't stand it. I really want I need some sort of input from my football club all the time. And I can see people going crazy on Twitter, honestly, about all the rumors and people saying, "Oh, we haven't bought anyone yet. It's the end of the world. Next season's a write-off because Liverpool have bought Wirtz and we haven't got anyone." And yeah, it's I'm not that crazy, but I at least need something.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. To be honest, I'm missing Arsenal playing. I'm gonna be completely honest. I do miss the games. However, I do feel that sometimes a break, even if it's 1 or 2 weeks, is more than welcome. We do have the international breaks during season and all that, but there's still some games and some news and whatever else. But yeah, I kind of check daily as well, hourly or whatever, to check to see, have we signed someone? Apparently, we signed Zubimendi, but that's kind of we kind of knew, right, for a while now that he's going to come to Arsenal. I think there have been a couple of information, rumors, news, whatever you want to call it, even by his parent club, where they said that we're expecting you back after the international games, and then Real Madrid rumors came to surface and whatever else. But apparently, according to, I think, Ornstein and Fabrizio and whoever else, we sign him. We probably wait for, I don't know, the July, 1st of July for financing purposes, or I'm not sure. We signed Kepa as a backup keeper, and today we have the rumors who actually kind of took off recently about Chris Norgaard, and we'll talk about him in a second. What do you make of the Kepa signing?
Feels like a bit of an upgrade on Neto, maybe. Neto, how many games did he even play last season? It's got to be in the single figures, right? It was maybe a couple of Carabao. I think he was cup tied for something, wasn't he? Which seems crazy as a decision to buy someone or loan someone who was cup tied. So outright owning Kepa for I think it was £5 million is a really, really sensible bit of business, because we need a backup goalkeeper, but we're also going to need a huge amount of money for a striker and potentially a left winger. So great. And I think the same kind of applies with that Norgaard, or potential Norgaard deal, where people are saying, oh, he's not as good as Partey. Well, he's not replacing Partey. He's replacing Jorginho. Partey leaving frees up, he's one of our biggest earners, so he's over 200k a week. Norgaard would be on less than half of that, you'd imagine. So he'd pretty much pay for himself in terms of savings, anyway. And again, he lives in London. He's got Premier League experience. He's somewhere around £10 million. He's honestly the perfect Jorginho replacement. And yeah, I think we've been smart so far. I think we've got the smart ones out of the way. And Zubimendi is an awesome signing. So he replaces Partey, but in a slightly different way. He plays differently to Partey, but better suited for us.
And you did mention something about Neto. To be honest, I think I erased him from my memory. But when you mention him, how many games he played, I think it's very, very difficult to play games as a goalkeeper when you try to stop a shot from outside the box with your hands. That's a little bit insane, right? So I don't think you have a lot of chances of getting a permanent contract or whatever. So yeah, I think through comparison, Kepa and Juan Garcia, I understand that Inaki has a problem. He won't. I don't want to say a fetish, but he has something with buying goalkeepers, right? We keep buying goalkeepers, and I think he really wanted to go for Juan Garcia, but I think it would have been insane from a business, from a financial perspective. Also, it wouldn't have made any sense having David Raya and Juan Garcia, right? Maybe if we would have sold Raya, which would have been insane. So yeah, basically buying Kepa makes sense, right? To have him as a backup goalkeeper. As you said, they're smart signings because Kepa has a lot of experience, right? He played Champions League, he played wherever, right? So he has a lot of experience in the Prem as well. On Chris Norgaard, I don't know anything. I know he's 31, right? Information on Twitter, he's 6 foot something. So he's a good Jorginho replacement. What I do know for a fact is that Martinelli won't be best friends with him. Maybe, I don't know. I hope that changes. But after the tackle and the interview from this past season, not sure Martinelli is going to be happy about it. But it is what it is. Do you think Martinelli will go to Bayern München? I don't think he will.
I think that's a tricky one. So we have a tendency to not cash in on our players at the right time.
Yep.
So if we were to buy another left winger, which I think we should do,
yep,
then you've got Martinelli with 2 years, I think, left on his contract.
I think it's 2027, yeah.
Yeah, sat on the bench, just losing value. Like I love Martinelli. I think he's a great player. I don't think he's quite good enough for what we need right now. But is it worth having him on the bench when we could sell him and use that money to, strengthen somewhere else, or buy like a younger player who would gain value by being on the bench and, getting that kind of experience that they needed? I think we probably should sell him. I think maybe Berta will kind of change the kind of attitude towards selling players, hopefully, and actually get some money out of our assets. We don't have many assets, right? Like, people are saying, "Oh, sell Trossard, sell Trossard." Well, why? He's basically doesn't have much value at this point. He's not going to decrease in value. He's an asset that, maybe you get 10 million for him, right? Maybe. But that would be the same next season. By which point, you'd think, well, actually, we can just sort of let him leave anyway, because he'll be at the age that you just don't need him anymore. So the sensible thing to do is buy a superstar left winger who's the player that you want to start in your team. Great. Have Trossard as a backup. Everyone seems to forget that Gabriel Jesus exists. He's also a very, very good backup as a left winger. There's your three options for left wing. Cool. Do I need Martinelli in there? Honestly, no. Get rid of Martinelli. Get 50-60 million pounds. Don't get in trouble with the PRS or whatever they're calling it these days, and throw it into the striker, or throw it straight into the left winger, or throw it into whatever it is that we need. And
like we have we have access to all the social media and whatever else. So I'm just gonna ask you, although for me, like, maybe there were some rumors and whatever else, would you sell Martinelli to buy Rodrigo?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like, I think it would be.
So you got Real Madrid fans, on Twitter saying, "Oh, Rodrigo's rubbish," blah blah blah. But like, they weren't saying that last season when he was scoring a bunch of goals and being a great player. Football fans are fickle. Ignore Twitter; it's a waste of time. Rodrigo's a good player. He's an upgrade on Martinelli. I don't think he's like a game-changing upgrade. I just think he's an upgrade, and we need an upgrade. Any raising of the floor in the team, and raising of the ceiling as well in the team, is a good thing. So yeah, if you trade in Martinelli for Rodrigo, I would be very happy.
I think he's 1 year younger than Martinelli. I think I'm not
exactly
sure.
And he's already ahead of him in the national team, so I don't see a downside here. I mean, maybe from a kind of social standpoint, maybe Saka and Martinelli are good friends, etc., but we've got to toughen up as a team if we're going to win anything, and be a bit more cutthroat and make the decisions that are going to actually win us the trophy and win us the league. And I think you wouldn't see I don't know, a Man City or a Real Madrid care about this. They'd be like, right, no, we're getting rid of this player, we're getting this new player in. But we kind of have to act a little bit more like that.
Do you think 50-60 million is a good price for Martinelli? Isn't it a little bit too low? I mean, in the market where you have the numbers that are being touted and rumored around to sell Martinelli by 50-60. I mean, I know we got him for 6 or something, so it would be an incredible piece of business, but still, I would expect at least maybe 70 to 75. Is that too much?
I mean, the guy scored 8 goals last season. If he's a 75 million player, then you'd expect him to be at least hitting double figures and getting assists, and he's just not really done that. I think he's on. Okay, let me find the stats. Yeah, 8 goals, 4 assists in the Premier League in 33 matches. So it's like 0.3 something GA, which for a player who's playing for the second best Premier League team as of last year, that's not really very good. Like, you would expect better output. Like, if we go look at Liverpool or go and look at other like top teams, like their left winger is going to be doing much better than that. If we sold him like 3 years ago when he's got 15 goals, absolutely, he's a 100 million player back then. But 10 goals the season before last? Sorry, not 10 goals. 6 goals the season before last. 8 goals last season. It's like no one's going to pay 75 million for him. If we get 60, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, and again, for the price we paid for him, it would be exceptional return on investment if we get 60 plus or 50 plus. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's gonna happen. I don't know why. I expect Martinelli to be here next season, but I do agree that we kind of need to sell someone. I'm a little bit worried that we've signed these players, right? We signed Zubimendi, Kepa. We're signing Chris Norgaard for like 10, 12 million or something. And we still need someone in the attacking third. And, you take, small portions of our budget and you kind of get to a point where it's difficult maybe to negotiate for a striker or winger. You did mention something interesting. You said that Chris Norgaard is a backup for Jorginho. Who's a backup for Zubimendi, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, Jorginho was a backup for Partey, right? So now Norgaard would be a backup for Zubimendi. That's how I would see it, right? That would be the deepest lying midfielder.
Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking about the midfield of Rice, Zubimendi, Odegaard, and having Norgaard and Merino on the bench. Maybe Nwaneri to replace Odegaard from time to time. I don't know. Miles Lewis Kelly playing in midfielder again from time to time. Maybe Havertz. If we're gonna sign a striker, because Arteta likes to try to find positions for Havertz to play. So if we add, but like Miles Lewis Kelly is a left back, or at
he's
least
not a left back.
He played.
Okay.
He played as a left back. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, why are we signing a 31-year-old centre midfielder, right? Like a defensive midfielder."
Yeah.
Well, why not buy someone younger? Well, right. Zubimendi's 26.
Yep.
So he's going to be around for a while, you would hope. The 31-year-old has got, maybe 2 years in him, right? In 2 years, I would love to see Miles Lewis-Skelly, and I expect to see Miles Lewis-Skelly playing for Arsenal in midfield fairly regularly, if not as a starter. So he's that good. So he could play the Rice role, he could play the Zubimendi or Partey role or whatever you want to call it. I mean, you could probably play Odegaard role. Like, we don't know what he's going to end up as yet. So you need to give him time. So if we go and buy like a 21-year-old superstar or potential superstar, what's Skelly going to do? He's just going to leave. It's like you've suddenly just killed his route into the team. So I think this is really smart on all accounts, getting someone like Norgaard in to give Miles Lewis-Skelly time to transition from left back into his actual natural position, where I think he's a good he's a really good left back, but I think he's going to be an amazing centre mid because the stats he has are that of a centre mid. And yeah, he's got the drive, he's got the athleticism, he's got the ability, he's got the mentality, despite what people say about his disciplinary issues, which I don't actually think exist. And yeah, I think he could be our kind of next big homegrown superstar. I think he's better than Ranieri, honestly, and I think he will be better than Ranieri.
Yeah, he's very young, so he still has a lot of time to develop, and as you mentioned, to move into his more natural position. But and I think Thomas Partey had like a trademark way of avoiding challenges, right, and being able to push forward in midfield, and I think Miles Lewis Kelly has shown that a couple of times at least. I think and in my opinion, it was similar to what Partey did, right? He's able to kind of skip a challenge and drive forward, which is that's very useful and great. And if you can do it at 18, as you said, give him a couple of years, and he'll probably, hopefully, be a starter. In my midfield list and imagination, of course, we had Arsene Wenger back in the days, who started playing Fabregas since he was 16. What do you think Max Dauman what role do you think he'll have? Do you think he'll have any involvement in the first team this season?
I think he has to, otherwise he'll consider leaving, because he's not, he's going to have an abundance of offers from around the Premier League. So I would like to see him start maybe a game or two in like the EFL Cup. Maybe, although it's less likely with the new format in the Champions League, see him as a sub in a game that maybe doesn't matter, although they kind of all matter now, which is annoying. I don't really expect him to see in the Premier League unless we're 5-0 up and it's got 5 minutes left. But I think, he'll get on the pitch. He'll get minutes, but not a huge amount. I think you can't play it. I'd rather see Skelly on the pitch for now in midfield, like if there's a chance to do that. But I don't think you can play both of them without causing yourself some real issues.
No, that would be crazy.
Exactly. So I don't know if he gets sort of like 300 minutes ish this season. I think that's good enough for him.
Why did Wenger have the courage to play Fabregas so many games? I remember I'm gonna look this up. What age was Fabregas when he scored against AC Milan? Do you remember? Do you know on the top of your
18,
head?
17 or 18. You can look it up. I'm probably completely wrong, but it's definitely late teens. But I think the Fabregas was interesting because he was in that kind of weird transitional period for Arsenal where we'd gone invincible, but then the players who won that league started leaving, and then there's a gap, and then suddenly we don't have any money because of the whole Emirates move. So he was like, well, I might as well play this 16-year-old because we don't have any money whatsoever. He seems pretty good, and he's been brought up by these really experienced, incredible players. He's had Gilberto next to him at times. You got Henry on the pitch with him, and I think Campbell was still around when he was there, and the kind of like really experienced players. And well, I was going to say Gallas, but let's not look at that one.
No,
because that was when we transitioned into kind of literally not having any money whatsoever and just having an awful team, which players like Fabregas then had to carry, right? But we're not in that situation right now. I don't think we're not in a position where we're forced to play a player like Max Downham just because the rest of the team isn't very good. Like, we are very good again. This isn't we're struggling to come top 4. We have to come top 4, otherwise we can't afford our stadium kind of scenario. Thankfully, those days are long gone. We are now in a position where we've got Zubimendi, who's one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. We've got Declan Rice, who's one of the best midfielders in the world. We've got Norgaard, who was one of the best midfielders in the world. We'll see what happens this season. Like, you can't who does he play instead of? Like Norgaard's obviously much better than him. Like Marino is better than him. Havertz is better. Like we've got 8 players ahead of him in the pecking order. So, which is an awesome position to be in. Because, like I said, like 20 years ago, we were absolutely not in that position. 10 years ago, we weren't in that position. Now, yeah, it's different, but it's different for the player as well. So the player is going to be like, well, this is if we had a poor team that he had a chance of getting into, is that a good thing? Not really. I'd rather be coming up with, like I say, with Gilberto's and Henry's around than a Danielson and a Shamak, right?
Yeah, I just think that, when I remember, and of course, the points that you made are, valid about the stadium and the financial position. And you remember we had a team of kids right back then, but, just excited to see a player that's so talented, obviously, but you actually need to take care about his development because he's a child. I mean, he's a kid. He's 16, 15, I don't know. So, yeah, I need to accept the fact that, he might get involved here and there, but nothing too crazy. So, Joe, we haven't had the opportunity to talk about the huge elephant in the room, which is, the striker position. And obviously you've seen all the debates and probably the numbers and comparisons and quotes, and you've seen which player follows which club on which social media and whatever else. I don't want to stay on this topic for too long. Just want to ask you, because I didn't have the opportunity. Who is your preferred kind of signing on the striker position? I mean, who do you think would be a better fit? Of course, we can't know. Nobody can know. But what's your thoughts on Gyökeres or Šeško, whatever his name spelled out?
I've spent way too long thinking about this. Because there's been no football, like you say. I've been thinking, who would be the better signing for Arsenal? Which is actually a different question to who would be the better player for Arsenal. So, okay. So the conclusion I came to, if you want the short answer, because I could probably talk about this for about an hour, is I think the best option for right now. So, for context, I think this season is definitely going to define Arteta's Arsenal career. It has to. He's had all his chances. He's out of chances, right? If we don't get anything this season, I think he goes and he's labelled a failure.
I think he needs a major. I don't
major. There's only two that we can go for, right? We either have to win the league or the Champions League. Nothing else counts.
No,
and that's a very difficult ask for anyone, especially a team with our budget. So if I'm Arteta, I'm looking at the options for all the players, not just the strikers, and thinking, all right, who can I buy that will have the biggest effect right now and it would give us the biggest chance of winning something this season? And the answer to that question would be Gyökeres, for sure, because he's got Premier League experience. He is a more mature player. He's kind of at his peak as a player or thereabouts, and you guaranteed to get goals out of him, right? He will deliver, I don't know, 20 goals a season. You can basically bank on that. Šeško, if we had time, if this was last season and we were buying a striker, I'd be like, buy Šeško. I would, with no question, it would be buy Šeško, because he will be a top player for the next 5-6 years, and he's just coming into his. Well, he's not even at his peak. Your peak for a striker is generally 28 to 31. He's nowhere near that.
Yep.
but he's already putting out decent numbers. He's basically a much more mobile, powerful version of Kai Havertz, right? So I'd be bringing Sesko in, continue to play exactly how we're playing, or were playing with when Havertz was up front, and just keep using that formula. But with Sesko up front, because he gives more variety in the kind of goals he scores. He's going to score from outside the box. He's going to score from inside the box. He's going to score headers, left foot, right foot. Like, he can score from anywhere, basically. But most of his goals would be the Havertz-esque chances that maybe Havertz was missing half of them. Sesko doesn't miss half of them. But yeah, I think we don't have time to wait for that to happen, though. So, I think the fact that Arteta's gone, right, we're getting Zubimendi now, we're getting this, maybe Rodrigo now, maybe we're going to sell Martinelli now, maybe we're going to get Carras, and now this is all, right, what can we do to win something this season? We have to win something this season. I think it's the right choice. Constantly planning for the future is pointless. Like, there is no future if nothing happens this season. If we come second and go out in the quarter or semi-final of the Champions League, no one's going to remember that. No one's going to say, "Oh yeah, great job, Arsenal." Like, Arteta has no legacy if nothing happens this season.
Yeah, the pressure is so big because he has to nail it, And I think I don't know why. I think he's more tempted to go for Sesko, because maybe he's young, because he's younger, and you can try to mold him into the type of player that you expect him to be, or want him, or envision him, right? And I think Arteta has this capability. I'm also a little bit worried about the excuse of adapting to a new league and getting up to speed and whatever else. Maybe that's another reason for which I would like the striker to be signed a little bit with more urgency, but I understand that it's not easy. However, yeah, I would incline at least 5%, right? If the balance would be 50-50, I would incline at least 5, if not 10% more towards Gyökeres for the exact same reason, right? He has a ton of experience, right? Oh, okay, Portuguese league, it's not the most, powerful or big or important, but the Champions League as well. He played in the Champions League. He played in the Championship back in the days, so he has experience 5 years, or at least 4 or 5 years in front of Sesko. So that counts a lot, because, as you mentioned, we create chances, and we have the likes of Gabriel Jesus before he started going on a run and then injuring his ACL, and Havertz, who missed a lot of those chances created by the wingers, by Odegaard, by, I don't know, maybe Jorginho from the back, and with long balls and things like that. So if you have a clinical player, a clinical striker who can, finish those chances, you better go for the guy who has more experience, and his numbers are better than Sesko's. I mean, we have to be fair, although we do compare the leagues as well. On this topic, right, you said you can speak 1 hour, I can speak 1 hour, everyone can speak for 4 hours about it, but I understand the process of purchasing a player is not as going, and it's not easy, right? There's so many things involved, like the agents and clubs and the finances and the installments and everything, absolutely everything needs to fall in place for a transfer to go through. And I understand that, and I appreciate that. But going back to the end of the season, Arteta was interviewed. I don't remember the date or the game, or it was towards the end of the season, right? Everything was kind of done and dusted. And I wanted to ask you, like, what do you... Arteta said in that interview that he's very excited that everything is done, everything is set, everything is okay. In my opinion, right, when I saw the interview and I saw that, I was thinking to myself, you have the target, right? It's dotted on your, I don't know, wall or whatever in your office. And you know this guy, I want this guy. Of course, you know the player, right? You've discussed with Andrea Berta, you've discussed with everyone at the club. Everything is set, right? Because everybody knows that Arsenal's priority is a striker, and we definitely need that. It's vital. So if you have everything, if something doesn't come up like you discuss with the club and the club change their mind and they say, oh, we don't want 70 million, we want 90 million. Oh, we don't want installments, we want this amount up front. Oh, we don't want that. Oh, we don't want that, right? If nothing changes and everything is okay, if the player or the agent then say, oh no, I don't want 5% commission or 10, I want 15 or something like that. So if everything is set, we should have at least have it. Arsenal is like, we don't know, maybe Sesko, maybe Gyökeres. That's the impression that they give to the fans, they give to the world, right? That they don't know yet who they want. They're still balancing. So why would you say, I have everything set, I'm very excited, ideally we want to do everything fast, right? Oh, but the preseason hasn't yet started, but it will soon start. So you should ideally have the striker ready. It's a little bit, and that's why fans are frustrated. Right? We signed almost 3 players, right? And really good. Like you said, Zubimendi is one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. Kepa is a good signing. Norgaard, if it goes through, is a good signing. So we're active in the market. But fans and people, and myself included, not as much as others, I don't know, probably from what I see on social media, but I'm a little bit disappointed that nothing happened.
I can see that. I kind of agree. But I think what you've got to bear in mind is that a lot of these players have, ended the season and gone on to immediately play a bunch of internationals, which was crazy, by the way, having internationals after the Premier League season ended, and then gone on holiday, and only now are appearing back, in, right, I want to start training, I want to get back in football mode. I wouldn't, having, just played a 38 game league plus God knows how many other games, we play close to 60 games a season at the moment. Immediately go into discussions about my future. I wouldn't. We got to remember they're humans after all. They need a break. They need downtime. They want to stop thinking about football for even 2 weeks of the year. I think that Zubimendi, the only reason it's not done is for that very reason. He's just not been around. So that, when he comes back, which is sort of now-ish, and when the kind of, I think it's financial year and financial reporting reasons anyway. July the 1st seems to be the date where a lot of things get signed and kind of wrapped up. Then cool. As long as we have these players in by where are we on tour this year? I can't remember. Are we in Singapore or somewhere in Asia?
Yeah.
As long as we've got a striker in by then, it doesn't matter. And that's just under a month away. I think 23rd of July is our first game. Sure, training would be useful. But these things can happen quickly now. The players are back or are about to be back. They're ready to go. They want to get focused. If we haven't heard something by the end of next week around a striker, then I'd start getting worried. But I think there's good reason up until now. And I also think it's just a good kind of tactic around negotiations. You say, okay, we've got 2 targets. We go to Leipzig and say, well, actually, if you charge that much, we're just going to go and buy Gyökeres. And you go back to Sporting and say, oh, if you're going to charge us that much, we're just going to go buy Sesko. Like, why? That seems like the kind of thing that Berta's done in the past, right? He's always got multiple targets lined up. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if we ended up with Sesko and Watkins, or a combination of strikers. I think that would be the best possible outcome. Would be Watkins and Sesko.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't see why I wouldn't. Villa are forced to sell. They have to sell.
We have Jesus. We have Havertz. If we don't sell one of them, Havertz is not leaving anywhere. Jesus still injured.
Could go.
Yeah, well, but not while he's on rehab. So.
True. Anyway, let's back to the point. Get Sesko and Gyökeres. I think within the next week and a half, I think we'll have our answer, and I think it will happen very quickly. And I also think something like a Rodrigo or a Rafael Leao or whoever we're looking at for left wing will also happen very quickly. I think the reason that, go back to the Arteta interview, I think the reason that he was excited is because he knew that we had funds available to actually do this. He wasn't sure what this was yet, what exactly the plan was. He obviously had targets, because you can never go in and say, right, these are the 3 players we're buying. It's going to happen, because it's impossible to know, right? Like, even if players have said, oh, yeah, absolutely, until you've signed it, anything can happen. So I think in January, they made the decision not to invest into the team and be like, right, we're just going to keep going with what we've got. And maybe we win the league, or maybe we win the Champions League, or whatever. And we're going to go all in on next season, because whatever happens next season is the most important one. So he's backed by the club, hopefully, at the board, hopefully, with a lot of money, with a new sporting director, with a actual whole summer to rest for once. So no Euros, no anything. Other clubs, our rivals, in fact, some of them are off at the Club World Cup playing until, into July, like halfway through July is the final, which is crazy. Like, Man City are such a disadvantage, as are Chelsea next season, just because they're going to have to play so many more games. They're just going to get no rest. And yeah, I think we're in a good place. I think this is the season. I think we get the players. I think it's all going to happen. It's all going to fall into place. I might be completely dreaming here and being completely unrealistic, but I can't see it going any other way. I think the players are coming back now. We make the signings in the next couple of weeks. We go off to preseason. Everyone's happy.
Another thing is that for Gyökeres, I know a couple of clubs that have been interested. I don't know, maybe my mind plays tricks on me, but I don't remember, or not my mind, my memory, but I don't remember, like, there aren't a lot of clubs interested in Sesko, right? At least from what I know. Maybe they aren't. I don't know.
Well, he signed a new contract last season, which I think puts a lot of people off. So I think he would really, really want to leave. He'd have to really want to leave for anything to happen. He'd have to push for it. And it sounds like that is what he's doing. And maybe he signed a contract that stated, I can leave next season, or if X teams come in, or whatever, if there's a move to the Premier League on the cards. Because, it seems odd that a player of his ability, of his age as well, of his stature, right? He's 6'2". He's incredibly fast. He's basically the closest player to Haaland that I could think of, that exists right now. And it is bizarre that no one seems to be interested in him other than us. So there has to be some sort of contractual reason. Probably.
But I think, I think Arsenal were pretty sure about the Sesko thing when he said, listen, I'm going to stay one more year here to continue my development, and then we can discuss. But it has to be some sort of a gentleman's agreement or a clause or something that allows him to do that. He wouldn't have signed. He has an agent, right? He wouldn't have signed just like this. Just dropped in 12 minutes ago from Fabrizio. He said, here we go on Christian Norgaard to Arsenal, 11 million.
That's done.
Yeah, 11 million euros. He's going to be traveling for a medical. So that's another signing right now, live.
Well, yeah. This is what I mean about things happening quickly, right? The players are back. Or maybe they're on holiday or just ending their holidays, and they are ready to make these decisions as their agent. So cool. Like that literally came out. What? I think Ornstein posted it a couple, literally 5-6 hours ago.
Yeah.
And now we've got Here We Go. Like it's done. So I expect the same thing with one of Gyökeres Sesko and one of Rodrigo Leao, or I don't even know who the other options could be. I think it has to be Rodrigo, right? Because he's essentially been told now that he's not starting for Real Madrid. So what else is he going to do? It has to be Rodrigo.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. To be honest, we touched a little bit on the winger situation, but not a lot because everyone wants to see a striker, including me, probably including you as well. But I'm gonna trust you on this one. You gave me a little bit of, let's say, calmness on, let's wait for the guys to come back from their yachts and whatever else, and maybe things are gonna start moving this week. So there's still a couple of touch points, but I would leave it here, and maybe we can have another discussion next week after we sign Sesko and Gyökeres, both of them, and Rodrigo. So that would
absolutely.
that would be a triple signing that's going to happen, because Berta has everything set.
Mbappe as well. Don't forget about Mbappe.
Yeah, as a backup.
Yeah.
That would be insane. But let's see, Joe. Maybe we can have another episode. Let's see. We'll talk, and we'll see how things evolve. But I mean, this was pretty exciting. We signed a player while doing the podcast. I mean, according to Fabrizio, and hopefully Martinelli doesn't do anything on the machines during the medical, so he fails the medical or something. He might, because that the tackle was crazy. I mean, he should be happy that we have that.
But he's not going to hurt him anymore, right? Yeah, you can't face him in a Premier League game anymore, so it's a good thing. One player we haven't mentioned who I'm very excited about is Jorel Hato from Ajax, who
I totally forgot
centre back / left back. I think if we get all the people that we're expected to get, so Kepa done, Hato done, Norgaard apparently done, Zubimendi supposedly done, great, a left winger and a striker, I would put that as
over the moon.
I'd be like, it's not quite a 10 out of 10 because we're like not buying an Mbappe, right? We bought an Mbappe, then wow, but that's a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. We've got depth everywhere across the squad, and
quality.
And if you lose any 5 players, it doesn't matter because you've got good enough players backing it up. Whereas at the moment, we just don't have that. So I think if all these signings come in, even if we sold a Kiwior and Martinelli, which I think are the likely ones to go, we're in an amazing place. And I think if you and I have a podcast in maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, all of these things will be done and we'll be very happy.
You already gave me some positive energy, man. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you being on a podcast. Maybe, I mean, we've been both on vacations and something happened, Maybe we should go again. Let's do some sacrifices and go for a couple of weeks on vacation in multiple areas and countries. And I encourage every Arsenal fan to do the same because things happen when you come back from vacation. So thank you so much, Joe, for taking your time and joining in. And we'll talk to you as soon as we schedule something.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I'll leave it here. Thanks, guys. Wishing you all the best and a sunny summer.